With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
Pet Life Radio. This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Rappaport to the rescue with award-winning animal advocate, best-selling author, journalist, and pet products creator, Jill Rappaport.
Hi, welcome to Rappaport to the Rescue. I'm Jill Rappaport, coming to you live from East Hampton. I am so excited. We are at BookHampton with the one, the only Uptown Girl, Christie Brinkley. You're coming here tonight. There's so many familiar faces in the audience, and I'm just so thrilled that you're all here. So, including your children. Jack wanted to be here, but his flight got canceled in LA. Alexa's in the back there. And also, I should point out that when you read the book, you'll see there are a couple of times in my life where my friends, I'm going to choke myself up right from the very get-go. But I have 3 friends that are in the room with me tonight that were there for me. I am one of them, right? Please, Wendy, will you stand up? And Lisa and Jill. You'll read about them in the book, but they helped me get through some of the hardest times.
Lucky one. We sure are. We have been through everything, and what a wild, wonderful ride.
Yeah.
To be your friend, you're going to get me choked up. And they say the best things in life are worth waiting for. And when you did the massive book tour, I'm like, when is it my turn? But guess what? I think I am the luckiest person now because this is the book of the summer. And when you were getting ready to embark on the book tour, I was speaking to you after every interview, before each interview. You were nervous, you trepidatious, like, will people buy it? You didn't know.
Yeah, right? The whole time I thought, everybody's always said to me, when I tell a story, they all go, you've got to write a book. You've just got to write a book. So I wrote a book. and then the week before it was going to come out, I thought, boy, I have some nerve thinking that I write a book and people are going to want to hear about it. And I thought I could picture the stacks just sitting there with, not moving. And so I was so pleased. I was beyond excited when it actually ended up on the New York Times bestsellers list.
An international bestsellers list.
Yes.
That is such an accomplishment when you consider all of the books out there, all of the memoirs, the celebrity memoirs, and yours is the one that everybody is talking about.
Oh, thanks. Well, and it's also being translated into Finnish. So all 12 of the people in Finland buy my book.
Being one of your closest friends, I literally watched every interview you did. And I would watch and I would listen to the questions. I'm a journalist, I'm a reporter, a little competitive, right? And I remember thinking a lot of the line of questioning was very similar. They wanted to go down the same road on the same topics. But your book is filled with so many incredible, juicy stories. What stories, or what 1 or 2 stories did they not ask you about that you would love to tell this wonderful audience about?
Oh my gosh. My publisher, Lisa Sharkey, said to me, I said, I forgot. There was this time that, oh my gosh, my whole family was on this sailboat and this storm came up and we had to go to sea and there were 80-foot waves and we were tossing and turning and the refrigerator broke loose from the wall and it was like it started a fire on the boat and we couldn't barely move. We had to hold on to the furniture. She said, enough death-defying stories. We don't have enough pages. We don't have enough room. So I have to say, there's still so many stories to be told. I hope that the ones that I did tell are, ones that you're interested in. So,
Well, and also you talk about so many stories you didn't get to tell. So should we assume there's going to be a sequel to the memoir?
well, you never know. I mean, I am working on ensuring that my second act is as good, if not better, than the first. So,
I'm flipping the channels the other night, and I see a former gossip reporter from Page Six on one of the cable shows. And what is her big scoop? You talking about how you have the book of the summer, the hottest book, and that you are fielding offers right and left, and that you are the golden girl. Can you break any news here? Anything you care to share? What's going to happen?
not yet.
Can we assume that this book has legs like you?
It's just still premature, but I have had interest. And so we'll see what happens.
Yes, that's so great and so well deserved. And literally the message throughout the whole book is glass half full. And I always say to people, what is it like when they always ask me, what's it like to be such close friends with her? And I said, okay, picture yourself, and I'm afraid of everything, right? Picture yourself on the wildest roller coaster ride, okay? Having just ingested laughing gas while eating the most delicious bowl of ice cream, dairy-free. And that's what it's like being her friend. If you never know where you're going to end up, but boy, do you laugh, and you're riding by the seat of your pants. It really is an incredible ride with you, and you always have the glass half full. You live by my 3 favorite words: live, love, laugh.
Definitely. Definitely. I mean, life's short. You've got to live it up. You've got to live each day as the gift that it is. And I hope, my book, I deliberately didn't want it to be preachy or a how-to or anything like that. I just hoped that after reading it, my readers would be inspired to write your own script, baby, and make it a good one.
And that was your father's words to you, guided you.
Say to me, yeah, baby, write your own script. And it is true. We do have a blank page. Every morning that we wake up, we've got this beautiful gift of a day. And what are we going to do with it? It's ours.
Now, you talk about writing your own script. And even if that script gets rejected, torn up, spit out, you start all over again. You've been there.
Oh, yeah. Yes, for sure. The book is called Uptown Girl, but the song, you got to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start all over again.
And the thing that has always amazed me about you is you look at any challenge as the greatest gift in the world. Nothing scares you. You're like, bring it on, let me do it.
Well, I don't like going to the dentist.
I mean work challenges like Broadway, when that came into your life.
I tell you, I could not believe my luck. I could not, to this day, I can't believe I have to pinch myself to this day and go, you did that. You actually did it. I thought my story was going to be to tell my little grandchild, come over here, sit on grandma's knee. I'm going to tell me about the day I actually had the nerve to go out and audition for a Broadway play. And that was going to be my story. And I auditioned and I got the part. So then I had the dilemma like, oh my gosh, I got the part. I don't know that I can actually even do that. I don't act, I don't sing, I don't dance. And they're like, leave it to us. We'll have you doing all 3. And sometimes you just have to say yes to adventure. And I am so glad that I said yes, because those were the greatest years. I absolutely loved every second of it. So amazing. Here's Sarah Tolan. Sarah helped me write this book. She is incredible. I just have to say, sorry to go off topic.
That's okay.
But we'll read a little bit about Chicago in the book. But I just want to talk about Sarah for a second because she was so incredible to work with. I started the book with another writer, and he was like a top-notch, award-winning, always on the New York Times bestseller list, et cetera, et cetera. And every story, he would explain away the magic. And I would like, I don't want to see the backstage area. I just want the magic to exist. There is magic everywhere in life. There's magic, and let's not take that away. And Sarah understood immediately. Like, Sarah got it. And it was like, as Joni Mitchell says, and two heads are better than one.
But writing a memoir, I've heard these celebrities, and Barbara Streisand said it took 5 years out of her life. It really does take not only so much time, but the emotional to relive. And for you, you've had a lot of experiences that broke your heart in many pieces. And you go over it again and to remind yourself bit by bit, to put it in print. I don't know if you can use the word cathartic, maybe for some stories, but really heartbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, I think there were certain chapters that, like there was one chapter of my life that was so terrible. I actually, after living it, I had it transcribed so that then I could block it out of my mind. But in case my son ever wanted to hear about that phase of my life, I would have it all fresh and in a transcript. And so that's what I did. And the transcript's about this thick. And I go, here, Sarah.
For our listeners, that's about 12 inches.
Just show it. Like this, bigger than the biggest phone book. Remember those things?
Yeah, we were around for those. Yeah.
And I go, here, I don't want anything to do with this. It's all there. And she looked at it and she's like, oh, no. Nope.
That's not happening.
That is not happening.
You were so ahead of your time because you were the original selfie person. You were taking videos and pictures, and you kept everything of your life, of your children's lives. And if you weren't photographing it or videotaping it, you were drawing it.
Writing it. I mean, thank heavens for those journals because, I started sort of looking through my journals and going, oh, that's kind of a good story. Okay, wait a minute. I did that. Oh, let me read further. And then sometimes I'd read that and I would think, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? But Sarah we would then go over it and what were you thinking? Let's find out what you were thinking, because there's some parts of my life that just reading the journal, I was like, wow, I can't believe that, yes.
That way. Yes. And it's a tell-all. You don't hold back. You can't hold back in a memoir. You owe it to the readers, to your fans. You got to be who you are and tell the truth.
Yeah.
Your life, with all the beauty, you've had the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah. And you have to put it all in there.
You're literally the unsinkable Molly Brown.
I know.
Oh, I'm really dating myself now. But the title, when I heard it, what did I say to you? Brilliant. Uptown Girl. Couldn't have been more perfect.
There you go. I'm going to also veer over to say,
right,
Lisa Sharkey is responsible for this book even existing, because I had decided, I sort of started and then I thought, you know what? They don't need another memoir out there. I'm just not going to do it. And I said, okay, thanks everybody for your time, but I'm not going to do it. I've decided against it. And I get a letter from Lisa Sharkey that was so amazing, so flattering for one. I was like, oh, that's what she thinks about me. Maybe I do read your book. But she had all these reasons that I really need to do this. And she convinced me. And my first thought was, well, if you'll help me write it. And she's like, no, I can't. But you got to do this.
I've known Lisa for decades. We worked together at Channel 2 News, and Lisa's a tough cookie. There's no, if she doesn't like something, you're going to hear about it. Trust me. No, so going to the title, Uptown Girl, and Christie, I don't know what it is about you. You have the best damn timing in the world. Here you come out with this book, New York Times bestseller, international bestseller, the book of the summer, and what comes out? The Billy Joel documentary, And So It Goes.
Thank you, Billy.
And that's why I was so thrilled to interview you now, because I have seen this documentary, and I'm not kidding you, maybe 15 times.
It is I think it's the best documentary
Ever done.
ever seen,
Ever done.
ever.
Yeah.
Like it really is amazing. And that's largely in part, Lex and I are in it. I'm kidding. It is. I mean, we are in it, but it's a story and the telling of it and the weaving together of, I mean, Susan Lacey is brilliant, and she really wove together a complicated tale with stories intersecting and mingling and moving that is moving. I mean, you will laugh, you'll cry, you'll want to get the album, play it. It's really something.
And I actually had the pleasure of watching it for the first time. I had Christie on my left and Alexa on my right. It was so emotional because Billy's life and your impact on him, and Alexa, and how much, he loves his children. And, it's a side of Billy. There was so much you think and I thought, wow, in his life. And you were so unbelievable. And I have to say, the period in the documentary when he was with you and showing your life together, didn't you all feel this? He had such joy and fun with Christie, right? Right? There was such an uplift. It's like you were the high for him and watching you. And that's when I met you. And that we're going to eventually get to the animals because my show is about animals. But I met Christie and Billy in the 80s. Alexa was in diapers. She was my first national big TV spoof, People Magazine on TV, on CBS. And I went to their house in East Hampton, and I walk in, Alexa's running around, and Christie's there, so blindingly beautiful. And then she says, now we do this great interview. We're walking around. You referred to your East Hampton house. Billy called it the Beast in the East.
The Beast in the East. See, the house never was finished. It is like one of those worst case scenarios that it was under construction year after year. At first I was like, well, the baby's due, and, I'd love to be in the house for the baby. And then I'd love to be in for her first birthday party. Do you think we could do her 5th birthday party in the house? Like, it went on like that. It was...
and Alexa, you were so unbelievable in your diapers singing all the words to We Didn't Start the Fire. And I know the one line, like most people. She's like, and on and on. And I'm looking at this kid.
I went to Joe to Becky, yo. That's how she said.
I'd been interviewing celebrities for decades, and what really solidified our relationship, we started talking about animals, and we're like the frustrated cowgirls. We love our horses and our dogs. And she said, you know what? Let's get on horseback. I'm going to take you to Two Trees. Let's go riding for this piece. And I have horses, so I know how to ride, not like her. So we get to Two Trees, and she had a beautiful gray mare named Bellstar. And she miraculously comes up with another beautiful gray mare. You'll have to see the video. It's amazing. They're like doubles. And the Malibu model, the beauty, the blonde hair, she's galloping along. And the nice Jewish girl from Michigan with the frizzy hair is following. And I'm galloping along going, hey! And we literally bonded over our love of animals, especially horses. And now there isn't a day that goes by that we don't talk about what's going on with the horses and the plight of the Mustangs and the Wild West. It keeps me up all night, and I know it does for you as well.
Oh, yeah. We've got to save the wild horses. They're all being rounded up, and many of them are dying. And just watch on my Instagram in stories. There'll be action items in there so that we can all help save them. And they are the Wild West. When you read the book, you'll see I have this real affinity for the Wild West.
She's a cutting champion, which you'll get into in a minute. I want to talk about that.
Yeah. And so the wild horses really do epitomize the Wild West in just all of their majesty and their, wildness. And
they're losing their land, these Mustangs and the burros. They literally nowhere to go. It's really tragic.
So keep your eye, because there's places to sign, and that is making a difference. So I'll keep posting, keep signing, and together we'll make a difference.
And let's talk about your love of horses, because when I met you, you were already on horseback. And she is a cutting champion. Do you want to talk about a daredevil, someone taking your life in your hands? Take it away.
Well, I was actually looking at TV one night, just spinning around, and suddenly I see this horse that's like scraping its belly down on the ground like this. Its two front legs are like, and it's leaping back and forth. And the cowboy's just sitting there on top, not moving at all. Just like, how is the horse doing this? How is this happening? What is this? So I'm watching this. I cannot for the life of me imagine what's going on. And then it says, get the cutting horse tape. And so I grabbed a pen. I wrote it down. I got the cutting horse tape. And also they were selling a fake cow. I bought the fake cow and the tape. And I went back to my friends out in Montauk. And they're like, oh, yeah. They used to do cutting horse riding, so many years ago out here. We watched the tape. We started doing the fake cow. You put 2 bicycles on each side of the corral and you pedal the cow back and forth and you train your horse onto this cow. So we're doing that and we decide, okay, so in a competition form, cutting horse riding originated with the cowboys when they needed to cut like a sick cow away from the herd or remove the bull so that they could work with the herd. And they all started going, I bet I could move that bull away from the herd faster than you can. And it's like, oh yeah, it's a bet. And then they go out there and they try to see who could do it the fastest. So now in competition form, you go into this arena and you have a herd of cattle in front of you. Fresh cattle that had never seen horses. So when you come in your horse, you've got your reins up in the air, you're eyeing the cattle and you're looking to see which one you want to cut away from the herd. Once you determine that, you put your hand down and now you can't move. Any movement that the judges detect will subtract from your score. And your horse is going to go to work, jumping from side to side. Like they say, it's the most exciting 2 minutes that you can have on a horse. And I tell you, it really is. And then you got to get off. You got to quit that cow before the cow quits you or runs into you or whatever. The way the cowboys put it is, if you see shit, quit. So because when they turn their tail on you, that means they're about to bolt. So that's kind of cutting horse in a nutshell. And we decide we're going to rid a herd of cattle and we're going to have a real life cutting horse competition in Montauk.
That was my focus shoot for people we know horses they love. My book. We got you with all the cattle. It was unbelievable.
It was so incredible. It was so much fun. We got judges from Montana and judges from Texas. People came from all over to be, in the show. And it was so much fun. And one of the guys there goes, Chrissy, you got to come down to Texas and compete in the National Cutting Horse Association Fraternity Championships. And I said, oh, I would love to. What is it? And he told me about it. And
she's wearing the buckle, cutting champion.
So I went and I was representing all the New York City fillies up here. And so I really thought, okay, I got to do this right, And they hooked me up with a trainer named Punk Carter. And Punk had great horses and he was a great trainer and he trained me to do it. And I went in and the first year I came in 3rd or 4th place. The second year I came back and I won. And I have 2 belt buckles and I have worked them into every outfit.
I'm surprised Ralph Lauren hasn't copied that, put it into his line. It's fabulous.
I do have some belts similar in my line, Tower Hill, Plugging Away, available on HSN.
But it is amazing. And just another side note, Christy asked me if I could keep her horse for a couple of weeks. They were renovating the barn in Montauk. I said, sure, we had extra stalls. And she said, you should get on Good Bar. She's so much fun. Dumb me, I get on the horse. I accidentally sneezed and the horse was on her knees. If you make one move, the horse was on the knees. I said, I am going to freaking kill her. It is the scariest thing because they move like in a matter of seconds. That's what I mean by the daredevil. Nothing seems to frighten you when it comes to that stuff.
You know what, Jill? That the first time that I did that National Cutting Horse Association Fraternity Championships,
she's got that title, right?
My mouth went completely dry because I was so nervous. I thought I was going to choke. I was out there, my mouth was sticking together like this.
You're taking your life in your hands, literally.
Well, I just didn't want to embarrass New York.
That's what she's worried about. Embarrassing New York. I'd worry, like, am I going to be here tomorrow? Yeah, right. But besides the horses, which have been such a part of both of our lives, our dogs. And I'm so happy to say that, half of mine here are in heaven, sadly, but I had 2 new rescues. And Christie's dog, Chester, who's 16 years young, I was able to get him from a wonderful shelter. And our dogs have given us so much joy. And I know Sailor has a beautiful rescue, and Max has a beautiful dog, and Alexa has her cat Stella that is her child. I mean, your whole family, all of you have embraced rescue and adoption and understanding the need and the importance to do so.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we think that we're rescuing them, but they're there for us through thick and thin. And their unconditional love is just the sweetest thing in the world. So, yes, definitely.
Yeah, they never look at us like, oh, bad hair day.
And I was just reading that there are more dogs available for adoption right now than any other point in history.
Yeah, the worst it's ever been. Yeah, no, the shelter system, they can't even take them in anymore. So you know what's going to happen. And it's truly dire. And what people don't understand, I'm all about the underdogs, the seniors, the bully breeds, and the special needs. So I try to encourage people to not, puppies are great, but please go a little older, or maybe take a blind dog or a 3-legged dog. I have a 14-year-old blind deaf one I just rescued. Nathan, Detroit. Mindy helped me with that name. And he's the love of my life. I feel like I've had him since he came out of his mother's womb. And he's like Dorian Gray. He's aging backwards. So, and I know with Chester, I was just over your house. Chester's 16. He's running around. He has an appetite. Forget about it. And he's been your comfort for so many years.
I mean, they will make such a big deal when you come home. You feel like, great to be home.
I have a kind of a joke with Christy. I say, after everything we've been through, a few marriages, a few divorces, I think it's safe to say that the only males we want in our bed should have 4 legs and not 2, right? For our listeners, Christy's wavering on that. So you're very open to love still?
Yeah, you have to be. Love makes the world go round.
And you've gone around a few times. So that's, see what I mean? It's like the half full. You don't let anything you've been through hold you back from doing it again or trying to have that experience again.
Why would you limit yourself in any way? I like being open to a whole world of possibility,
Yeah.
Never say never.
You really are always looking at everything in the brightest way possible, and you never stop.
Well, I count my blessings. I feel very, very lucky to every time I've ever had a job. I feel like, wow, I'm so lucky somebody else wants me. I've always felt like each job was going to be the last one. And it's kind of a good way because then you always want to give your best and give your all. And, in case that is the last one that you do. So,
and I look at you like, for you, I think you look at it, if you retire, you expire. It's like no retiring for you.
I mean, no, I love what I do. I love meeting people. Like, this is so fun. I've enjoyed talking with so many of you already earlier. And I love this. I love all the opportunities. I mean, modeling is I think it's a really amazing gig because you can do so much. I've written books. It's allowed me to dabble. I've done a couple movies. I've got to do Broadway. I have even gotten to use my platform for things that I believe in. And as a result, I became the delegate from the 1st Congressional District of New York and went to the conventions and stumped with some of the politicians that I believe in because I care deeply about the environment. So I always choose politicians who will protect my children's future, and I want them to inherit clean air, clean water, trees, and a beautiful, healthy planet. So I feel very, very privileged to be able to give back in that way.
You walk the talk every day of your life. And, you just ran through a myriad of everything you've done in your career. And it's almost like, is there even a question here to say, what have you not done that you want to do?
A vacation?
You haven't come out with an album yet. I think maybe, you sang on Broadway, but I'm looking at Alexa now. Yeah. And by the way, Alexa has a new song. Alexa, just come up here as we're getting ready to wrap the show. We have to talk about that. It is the summer of this family, right?
Thank you, guys. Riverside Way. Go follow my Instagram at Alexa Rayville. Sorry, couldn't plug.
We want that plug. And as we sign out, feel free to sing us out.
What do you want me to say?
Whatever you want. I think we'd all love something, right?
Should we do a group song? So just smile when your heart is aching. Smile just like my mamacita. We'll find a way somehow. If you just smile. There we go.
Oh, what a beautiful note to end on.
More positive and optimistic, and I was smiling, and my mom.
Oh, the ray of sunshine.
We watched the documentary, and, my dad, who takes a bit of a darker turn, more of an introvert like me, tortured artist, a little complex, but he said, life is like a Greek tragedy. Remember what he said? With all of his, he's been through quite a lot too. He's rather resilient. And Mom turned to me and she said, no, life is like a musical. I said, now I know why I always saw sort of sport. It's like a musical or a Greek tragedy.
Well, that is the best note to end on. Has this been great or what? I want to thank you all for joining us on this special live edition of Rappaport to the Rescue. And don't forget to get Christie's amazing book, Uptown Girl. And you want to get Alexa Ray Joel's new single, Riverside Way. And please open up your hearts and homes to an animal in need today.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.